Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. One of the major problems that we have encountered as a nation is the manner in which we amend our constitution, or the manner in which we make our constitution. We know that anytime we want to make or amend our constitution, we do it while targeting individual leaders in certain communities. Kenya is at the verge of making amendments to our constitution, because when we were voting to promulgate the 2010 constitution, the champions of that constitution alluded to a fact that the constitution, or the draft that we had then, was never perfect. It was never impeccable. However, time was ripe for us to pass that constitution and amend it later. That was agreed by the champions of that constitution. We are sitting at the center of trying to look at areas that can be amended. For example, in Mount Kenya, there is a push for what Uhuru Kenyatta had initiated: 1 man, 1 shillings, 1 vote. Yesterday, the IEBC, through their CEO, Hussein Marjan, alluded to some facts, or was giving his opinion that we should separate presidential elections from the other elections to give people time to concentrate so much on the ever precarious election that involves a lot of heated debate before, during, and thereafter. One of the very giants that were there during the debate on the constitution at Bomas is Patrice Loch Otieno, PL Olimumba. And he says that we are at a time that we should accept that, whether we like it or not, changing or amending the constitution is inevitable. But I listened to some of the proposals at the committee of the committee that deals, the dialogue committee that is headed by Kalonzo and Kimani Chungwa, and I realized that we still suffer from that disease. We try to make proposals that target individuals. Samson Cherargei came up with a very unique proposal, something that we have had before. But it is unique in a sense that when it is repeated, then it indicates some clandestine intention from leaders. Samson is saying that we need to extend presidential term. And before we go there, under Article 142, it says, the president shall hold office for a term beginning on the date on which the president was sworn in, and ending when the person next elected president, in accordance with Article 136A, is sworn in. So basically, it is a 5-year term, so that when the person who is elected next, that has fulfilled all the requisite conditions under Article 135, 136(2)A there, is sworn in. But Samson Cherargei is proposing that we need to increase a presidential term limit from 5 years to 7 years. And he says that 5 years is insufficient for a president to fulfill his promises. I looked at that proposal, and I was reminded of another proposal when Cherargei MP came up with another proposal that we should end the term limit so that a president can go forever as long as people elect him. But I want to concentrate on why Cherargei is making such crazy proposals. Because I was looking at the ages of the presidential hopefuls, and I realized that Hesabu Zingiani, this cannot be accepted. I'm looking at Raila Amolo Odinga, who I believe they are targeting in that proposal. I don't know whether I'm wrong, could be wrong, but just listen to this. Raila is currently 78 years old. William Ruto has done, let's say, almost 1 year now, and you are remaining with 4 years. If he does his 5 years successfully, Raila, when we get to 2027, Raila will be 82 years old. At 82 years, Raila shall maintain his sharp mind, but physically, he will be very tired. If you have looked at Raila Amolo Odinga, you'll realize that the enigma is a little bit physically tired, but very strong at the same time. And so by 2027, he might even be strong enough. But then you will realize that there are operations that he cannot do. For example, Raila 5 years ago or 10 years ago could campaign in even 5 regions. He would fly to Northeastern, come back to Nairobi, go to Nyanza, then get back to Eastern. You know that this was possible. But it is very natural that as we age gracefully, as Raila is doing, then there are things that are curtailed. So basically they are targeting Raila with this. But I realized that while trying to target Raila, Cherargei is also not knowing, subconsciously targeting other presidential hopefuls. Like Gachagua is currently 58 years old. By the time we get to 2027, he will be about 68 there, 68, 67. Rigathi has indicated that he's not going to contest. He's waiting for William Ruto, according to the Kenya Kwanza agreement, that William Ruto, they know, will get a second term. So you add another 5 years on top of a 68, it will be 71, 72 thereabout. At 72, he won't be the same Rigathi that you see today. I'm giving you this picture so that you can add, currently it is 5 years, so I want you to add another 2 years, so that assuming that William Ruto does 7 and he adds another 7, that will be 14 years. So I want you to take 14 years, you add it to Rigathi Gachagua. That will be about 76 or something. And then Kalonzo Musyoka is 69 today. By 2027, he will be 73. That is if I'm working with the normal 5-year term. And of course, Mudavadi is 63. Looking at their ages, and all these are presidential hopefuls, while Cherargei is trying to target Raila to ensure that by the time William Ruto maybe is running for a second term, or he has gone for the second term, then Raila will not be able to contest. He's also subconsciously targeting those in Kenya Kwanza. And so it is not just going to work, it will be rejected. And that's why I'm saying that whenever we amend a constitution targeting individual leaders, we are making a mistake. We should be making a constitution for posterity. Whenever we are doing something that is related to governance, constitutional making an amendment, we should be looking at 100 generations to come. But let me say this. This is also a test to the Mount Kenya fraternity. How are they going to react? For example, people like Ndindi Nyoro, who are really targeting, their eyes are on the ball, and they feel that after William Ruto, it is definitely going to be someone from Mount Kenya. Will they accept, and how are they going to react? And this could just be a push to see how people are going to react on this. And I know that they are not very happy. William Ruto has got appetite for power. Power corrupts. And maybe it is his intention just to ensure that he extends, because you never know. People like Museveni just started like that. All these people where you see in West Africa where we have got successful coup d'etat, they start like this because power is so sweet, and when you're in power, there are things that you do and you feel that when you're out, you will be followed up here and there. And so he could be planning to extend. We never take some of these things for granted. he could be, targeting to extend his power. But there is another argument that 5 years is not enough for a president. Yes, it is not enough for a president who engages in a lot of politicking. This government continues to politic, to blame the previous regime. They talk about Raila every day. When you lose focus and you start, focusing on Raila Amolo Odinga and the Azimio and the Mandamano and all this and blame game, you seldom get time to sit down and fulfill your promises. So maybe they feel that William Ruto should be given time to fulfill his promises. But you can fulfill your promises. The former president, the late Mwai Kibaki, called his think tanks and they put their heads together. And this second term, you saw what happened. It can be done if you have the right people, you eliminate all the corrupt people, and you get serious. And so the push for 7 years, to me, is really unwarranted. These talks could also just be meant to complicate the talks, the dialogue agreement. You bring in things that will really be emotional, so that people take a lot of time, and because they also want to dilly-dally. They're not serious about it. So it could only be meant to complicate matters because they don't want it to run smoothly. For example, I don't think that these people are ready to open the server for scrutiny, not unless they have doctored it. Very many people are telling me that you should not be afraid. Who is telling me that we should not be afraid? We are not afraid. We are only cautioning because we think something is happening. But Raila, who is Raila? Raila knows what he's doing, and maybe he's got plan B. Maybe he's got his result according to the original server, so that when they open it and find something different, they will open another chapter. And maybe it is just meant for diversionary tactics, because we are now talking about the high cost of living, the prices of oil and petroleum products, and for us to move away from the script that we should be talking about unemployment and all this, they could bring in things that will divert our attention. But do you think they will succeed? It's not. And so, ladies and gentlemen, hesabu hazingiani.